All right. These guys are resetting. They are getting ready. We should be starting here momentarily. Good luck, have fun. Today we've got Ricky and Sweetie T. They're both pretty good runners. They've been around for a while. And yeah, sorry, I got a little distracted there. It is 7:15 in the morning here on a Sunday, and I'm not really used to being awake this early. So I'm trying to, get some coffee in me and do a little due diligence and looking into these guys before we get started. So we've got Ricky here with a 34:45 no cape, no star world time. He's 7th in the world. Absolutely monstrous player in the no cape categories and also plays small only. Sweetie T, I know mentioned playing Lunar Dragon 96 earlier. I don't actually have a leaderboard time, and I went back and looked in like history, and I didn't actually see I didn't look very hard, all things considered, but I didn't see a PB like very blatantly listed. So we'll see what happens. They both come out of, I almost said donut plains. Like, wow, I'm a little off today. They're both out of Yoshi's Island 2, no issues, as should be expected. Now we're gonna head into Yoshi's Island 3. Just a lot of just small platforming, trying to run along these brown platforms as long as possible. One kind of tricky jump in the beginning, but players at these guys' level, not going to be an issue at all. As you guys may or may not know, World 1 in this category is the same as pretty much every other World 1 in a category in Super Mario World. So what you're going to see here up until we get through Iggy's Castle is going to be roughly the same as what you're going to see in any other run. So it's just going to be jumping here, Yoshi's Island 4. We're going to see a shell jump attempt there from Ricky and from Sweetie T. No luck from either, unfortunately. Both make it through with a 275. They're pretty much staying together through this World 1. So also, I believe there is a timer discrepancy here. If I remember right, Sweetie T's timer was actually started at 0. So if it looks like Ricky's ahead by about 2 seconds, that would be why. These guys are actually about tied up. And unless my eyes deceived me, I think Ricky, like, sort of did a halfway underball attempt, which is kind of I tried to say nuts and crazy at the same time. Oh, no. All right, well. Now Sweetie T is, in fact, in the lead. Ricky having a bit of incident here in the Iggy fight. That's pretty unusual. But I know it was mentioned in the SRL channel by both of our runners that it is very cold in the rooms they are playing in. So, cold fingers can make all sorts of weird things happen. And this only being 4 minutes into the run out of what could be a 35 to 40 minute run. Losing 5 seconds there, not a big deal. Now, this is where that no cape part of the run actually comes into play here. Usually, any other category, this is where you're picking up your first cape. But as you can see, Sweetie T's just fireballing him. Ricky's just going to be jumping over him, pounding him. We don't want that cape. This is no cape, no Star World. So instead, you're going to see this Yoshi that Sweetie T has. Ricky's going to grab it in a little bit. They're gonna use the speed from grabbing that Yoshi and running up. And they're gonna jump off that Yoshi to get the height they need to get through the secret exit. See, just like that little Yoshi fumble by Suidt is enough for Ricky to close that gap that already opened up. And believe it or not, having that fireball isn't going to be much of a decider here, or that fire flower, rather. Just means that Ricky's going to have to play a little safer through this narrow passage of fish. Now you're going to notice in this level that they're going to be trying to grab items. The reason for that is holding an item in this game lets Mario swim twice as fast for some reason. And that little maneuver there that Suidt did, where he lets go of the switch to sort of bounce up, helps you climb a little bit faster, but still sort of stay in control with the item. It's a good way to sort of keep your speed going through the last little bit of the level. Yeah, one thing that's cool about this category is just that the early game is actually interesting. Rather than just sort of flying through the early game, you actually have to do some things. So you'll notice that Ricky and Suidt both did the jump up the stairs there to try and preserve speed coming out. And they could use that so that the camera still moves with them while they're bouncing up that boo up to the platform. You can still sort of do it without getting the P speed. It's just, it's harder to see what you're doing up top because the camera doesn't move right. All right, so Suidt is trying to get set up here to do DP3. This is probably the biggest gatekeeper of this category. They're the big early gatekeeper. Because there's these super tight jumps on these moving platforms. You have to sort of keep a good rhythm going all the way through. And if you mess up, you're basically guaranteed to die. There's no floor to protect you. There's very few platforms that can actually save you. And these guys, you know, Suidt had a little bit of trouble getting the speed at the beginning, but otherwise had a very good run through with the fire. Ricky went through small and had a absolutely phenomenal time. These guys are basically in sync now. If there's any advantage, it's just Ricky with a couple seconds because of the thing with the timer that I mentioned earlier. So these guys are going to grab this Yoshi here. And, oh no. Well, I don't have to explain shell magic yet then. Whew. Oh, man. All right, so Suidt showing off the, taking the star through that level instead. It's so much safer to take that star if you don't need to grab, like, a backup power-up or anything. It does lose a little bit of time, because you have to wait for the roulette block to change into it. But now we're here in Morton's Castle, so after jumping up the staircase, we're going to see the mysterious second room. And this is a room I very rarely see. Kinds of runs I do, usually seeing that room's an indication that something's gone horribly wrong. But this is no Cape, no Star World, so sadly, you know, while we have generally a more interesting early game, we have a far less interesting Morton's Castle. Man, these guys just... Oh, whoop. Suidt missing that spring, getting up there, so it's gonna lose a little bit of time on Ricky in this castle, but overall, not enough time to really be worried about. These guys are both out. Hey, they're in the same pose even at the end. That's kind of cool. And so now we're just gonna literally kick over and stomp down Morton's Castle. Just, you know, that's how we do things around here. It's how we assert dominance in SpeedGaming 3 is just, you know, casually kicking over a castle. So that Yoshi we grabbed in Donut Plains 4, that's very important in this category for a lot of reasons. Specifically, this is no cape, not no flight. And that's important because you'll notice we're grabbing this blue shell here. And anyone who doesn't know, the different shell colors let Yoshi use sort of different powers. The blue shell providing flight for Yoshi. And so we use that to make it nice and easy to get up to the secret exit here. Sweetie Tea grabbing a good backup flower. That's a really good spot to grab that. And we're going to keep this Yoshi because it makes it much faster than climbing up vines right there where Ricky jumped off it. Where Sweetie Tea is about to jump off it. And after that, it's just some really fast platforming. Good fireball on the choke point. Now, honestly, these guys are killing it so far. You know, we've seen a few small mistakes here and there on each side, but really, these are both runs to be happy with so far. Now, last night we saw a little bit of trouble here with the Koopas. Let's see how it treats our runners this morning. The only reason this Yoshi's really grabbed is because it's convenient for to have later on, and it's a little safer to bounce off the Koopas with it. It's sort of an extra hit point. As you all may know, I'm very utilitarian when it comes to Yoshi. Yoshi's hurt me a lot as a friend. And I just sort of see it as a... That's a interesting way to set up the delay by Ricky. I kind of like it, though. Usually, you'll see like what Sweetie Tea just did there, where you sort of do a left-right at the start. And it sort of helps line up the dolphins so that you're out of the water as long as possible. You guys remember, swimming is the slowest thing you can do in this game. Well, one of the slowest things you can do in this game. Especially without an item. And so you end up in the water for a little bit of time, regardless, because this level's like half complete. And so you're just trying to make sure you don't be in the water the whole time. But don't you worry about not having enough water to swim in, because we've also got Vanilla Fortress, which is just sort of a water fortress. It's going to be the first time we see Reznor this run. Hey, I wonder what's in that box. This level's pretty straightforward. It's mostly just a exercise in managing your vertical height while you're swimming. You'll see you have all these things coming at you from the right side of the screen. You've also got spikes coming down. If you can maintain just holding right the entire way, you'll make it through and not really have to worry about the spikes on the ceiling, and you just have to manage your vertical. The other nice thing about this game is it's very easy to manage your vertical by holding down while you're swimming. Oh, very nice kill from Ricky. Let's see how Sweetie Tea does. Oh man, that was a really close fireball, but super solid kill as well. Well done to both. We were through the Reznor fight. Oh no! Well, actually, I think I could be happy about this. If we have both runners going to Butterbridge 1 right around the same time, that minimizes how long we have to sit in Butterbridge 1 collectively. So you know what, everyone? Let's get some PogChamps out for Butterbridge 1, because it's only going to be the 2 minutes that we're going to see. We're only going to get like 10 seconds of overlap here. Or rather, we're going to get like 10 seconds that aren't overlapped. So like, we're in pretty good shape. PogChamp this Butterbridge 1. We're just going to be bouncing. We're going to be wishing it had a different song, because that's what I do now. Let's see what kind of swag these guys do. Let's hope they don't get too complacent going for the swag. Kind of like what Ricky was doing there with the fireballs. Sorry, the excitement's kind of dead already. I thought I could maintain it, y'all, but it just wasn't happening. I thought 7 a.m. was on my side. 7 a.m.'s never on anyone's side. But here we are. We're getting towards the end here, so let's push through. We've got a really chaotic level coming up next. The whole reason we still got this Yoshi. Well, maybe not the whole reason, but definitely a good reason. So now Ricky's just got to get this final jump here at the end. Perfect. All right. Now let's see. Suidt can get that last jump out of Butter Bridge 1. Perfect. There we go. That last jump is kind of like the boss fight of Butter Bridge 1, because, like, you know, if you're not paying attention, you might just run off. I've done it before. It's really saddening. It's like 2 minutes gone. But the reason we got this Yoshi is because of the shell magic I sort of explained earlier, where the different shells give Yoshi different powers. There's a lot of blue shells in here, and you see how chaotic just getting to this blue shell is. Imagine what's happening below there. There's so many Super Koopas everywhere. There are shells getting kicked around. It's just a mess down there. You don't want to be down there. You want to be nice there, safe in the sky like these guys took with their Yoshis. And now, Ludwig's Castle. So Ludwig's Castle is actually pretty quick, no matter which category you're playing. In the no-cape categories, you see you get this little bit of delay to kind of line up these spike tops. Or these bony spinies. I get some of the spike top or the spike enemies names mixed up. Then you get a nice cool run through the second room. Uh-oh. Alright, well, Sweetie T's saying heck that power up. Ricky's just flying up that room. And I don't know if that was the best call. I think you could have been fine and still grabbed that flower. That gives quite an advantage to Ricky, because now Sweetie T is going to have to go for a cycle skip, killing Ludwig here. So instead of 2 fireballs and a jump, Sweetie T is going to have to go for the jump, wait through one of these spinning shell cycles, and then he's going to have to try and jump on Ludwig as he's falling still. Just like that. So if Ludwig doesn't hit the ground again, he won't start another cycle to... another cycle of the shell spinning around to hit him. I believe in total it's, if you don't have the fire flower for that, it's 11 seconds or 17 seconds difference because of that boss fight. I can't remember which one, but it's one of those 2 numbers. Alright, so Ricky has a bit of a power-up advantage now, but the power-up doesn't matter a whole lot at this point. It's pretty easy to get a fire flower back at this point, so it's just sort of the time loss. But Ricky's just sort of flying through FOI 1 here, and I think for any player who's playing any mid-length or long category, this is a good level to make sure you learn small and without cape first. Because in the forest, you don't really have a good source of capes other than this level. If you ever have to go back for it, then also 15. So now Ricky's at the Yoshi clip. Now this could be where Sweetie T could get a lot of time back if Ricky's unlucky here. Well, Sweetie T's not winning on that one. It looks like Ricky in the first try, no big deal at all. He's just gonna swim on through here, grab this throw block, try and get as much speed through this slow water level as possible. This clip is nice because it saves having to do the entire, like, underwater maze thing. Alright. Oh, no. Sweetie T got kicked out. That's not cool, man. Oh, come on. Oh, no. Oh, that's not where you want to be. Alright, so who knows what that subpixel is anymore? Uh-oh. Uh-oh, this is... Sweetie T is starting to not be in good shape here. Oh, there we go. Finally let in. Meanwhile, Ricky is having fun with the bubbles in FOI 3. Yeah, this level is actually very straightforward. The only thing you really have to watch out for in this level is making sure you don't just jump straight into one of the bubbles. If you jump into a bubble, you lose all your speed and you'll just sort of fall. And I look over and Sweetie T is just not having a good FOI 2. I'm not sure. I'm gonna guess that they went for the throw block and just didn't quite grab it because back in bounds kind of sucks. Trust me, I know. I was there last night. You never want to end up back in bounds after you've already done the clip. I feel for you, man. I feel for you. Meanwhile, Ricky's over here just riding the block snake in Roy's Castle. Unfortunately, in Roy's Castle, the first chamber you just have to do as the developers intended, because there's not really a way to get through here quickly without a cape. But if you've got 2 power-ups, well, actually, you only need the 1 power-up to actually make it through, but you can do a damage boost through the spike room. Oh, Ricky getting hit by one of the Potaboos. Not quite having the 3rd chamber that he wants, but safely making it through. Not going to be able to do 2 fireballs in a jump, so we're just going to have to rely on 3 jumps to kill Roy here. And Ricky is through the castle. And unfortunately, because of FOI 2 just not playing nice, Sweetie T has about a level behind now. And sadly, that level is Roy's Castle, no cape. So we've got this long block snake portion before we can even sort of consider any other time coming back. Meanwhile, Ricky has made it to Chocolate Island. Chocolate Island, you know, is a fairly simple looking world in a lot of ways, but it's also deceptively complicated, especially this level, Chocolate Island 1. The way the dino torches and the dino runners move around, along with all the weird sloping, it can make it kind of weird to actually hit the platforms the way you want to. And because the dino torches kind of bounce while they run at like a kind of fast speed, it's just kind of weird. But Ricky's showing us just how it's done. This is also another one that if you're learning any sort of mid-length category, you should probably learn this one pretty early on, no cape. That's one of those ones where you'll end up in there without a cape more often than you think you will. And it's just so much faster than going back for a cape. Now Ricky's really showing us how it's done here with through the ghost house. This ghost house can be really tricky because you have to manage your height, not hit that fishing boost flame. Oh, and Ricky's going for the damage boost. There he goes. Well done. This is a good place to throw away a power-up to gain some speed. All right, Sweetie Tea is just having a really nice run through Chocolate Island 1 right now. Oh, what happened to Ricky? I was mesmerized, just sort of like a well done Chocolate Island 1 is kind of entrancing. And that's kind of what happened there to me. I think he just landed on that Dino Rhino. Luckily, that was like right at the beginning of the level, so it's oh no. That's not what you want. Ricky has a pretty decent lead at this point, but not for long. If this keeps up, so I think Ricky's just trying to keep everyone on their toes. That's what we like to see. Now, Sweetie Tea's also going for the damage boost in the Ghost House room. Well done. Yeah, this is another one of those deceptively tricky rooms. No Cape, just in general, I think is kind of deceptively hard. Because it looks pretty easy. But as soon as you're doing it, you start to realize kind of, uh-oh, Ricky. Right into the lava. Whoops. But it's kind of deceptive because there's a lot of sort of weird quirks with SMW and sort of how the hitboxes work, how the frame rules work, the timing you kind of have to hit things with too. Like that whole thing to get under the chucks that Ricky was doing is actually real. Like it looks pretty easy. It's not quite as easy as it looks, and I'm really impressed every time I see No Cape runs, and every time I get to commentate them because of stuff like that. Anyways, my rambling and laughter aside, because we got both runners in Chocolate Secret now. Ricky's got his speed, heading through the last part of the third room. Sweetie Tea is about to fall with style down the second room, so you know Ricky's definitely given Sweetie Tea a bit of time, and he's been taking advantage. Who's ahead? Currently, Ricky is ahead. Ricky has probably 20 to 30 seconds, I want to say. I'll know better once Sweetie Tea hits the gold tape. All right, but Ricky's going to go through Wendy's Castle. Set up to go for a crusher skip here. Let's see if that goes well. There we go. In there. Ooh, that was very tight, Ricky, but very well done. Yeah, and it looks to be about 30 seconds between them at this point. So they were both in the level together, but it was a very long level that they were in together. Yeah, you'll notice in the second room of Wendy's Castle, Ricky did a weird sort of delay, did a small only Wendy's Castle. Very cool looking. I can't even do Wendy's Castle right with a cape half the time, so seeing this is always a treat. Ricky has defeated Wendy. Sweetie Tea in the second room. Let's see. Oh my, that is awesome. So Wendy is kind of random, but if you're paying attention to like the pixel underneath the pipes, sometimes you'll see a flash underneath the pipe that Wendy is about to pop out of. So there is sort of a way to at least get a little bit of a heads up on where she's going to show up. But with the way the Podoboos move around as well, it doesn't always help you to know that, because sometimes it just puts you in a weird spot. Better players than I, it's not an issue. All right, Sweetie Tea's out of the Wendy fight. Ricky is in the ghost ship. We have a nice long swim ahead of us. There are no items. There's just this boo cloud, followed by a few Eries, followed by some boo rings. And we're going to see if we can keep this boo cloud on screen long enough that we don't spawn a boo ring. And there we go. That first little corner there where... Oh, no, Ricky. Oh, man. The tide of the race has changed. Sweetie T is now in the lead. Ricky trying to thread that needle in the second boo ring and just not quite making it. So what I was trying to explain before, and hopefully what Sweetie T can demonstrate for us, and Ricky can demonstrate for us again. So at the end of this room, there are actually 2 boo rings, and we only saw one of them before. And if you keep the boo ring on screen while the game's trying to load the, or not the boo ring, if you keep that boo cloud on screen while the boo rings are trying to spawn, they just won't spawn. So Sweetie T didn't get the despawn, but you can see Ricky did again. So kind of a cool little difference. If you don't despawn it, you either have to thread the needle or wait for the opening to be accessible. These guys are playing so risky in this ghost ship. Like, all right, we're actually gonna have... Oh man. So Sweetie T's heading down the last part of the chamber. Everyone get ready to say it. It's our favorite item in the game. Orb. This is really exciting having them so close to each other because we've got the first orb. I'm already excited and we're about to grab the second one right now. Orb. So everyone needs to say orb twice, just as, you know, there were 2 of them just now, so get excited, everyone. We've gotten the orbs. Both of our runners are in Valley of Bowser, and they're quite close. I don't know if they're watching the restream. I don't know if, like, the nerves are on all of a sudden for either of them. But, like, we've got us a race in Valley of Bowser. This is a real treat. All right, Sweetie T got the scroll, jumped off that mole. I really like this level, no cape, as well. I just think this level's kind of a cool, like, almost maze kind of level, but it's got multiple correct paths, which is kind of awesome. And also, it's just got a really good rhythm to it. And like once you get your speed going, it's pretty easy to just maintain it. Like it's a fairly simple level, but it's got a lot of cool going for it. All right, so now we're in sort of a scary territory. This could be where Ricky may try and pick up some time, but he has to go for Sandbar to do it. And given that this is there's still the fortress after this, I don't know if this is like a worthwhile bet to make, but we'll see. Oh my god, Ricky got Sandbar. Ricky is catching up. I think Ricky just zoomed right back into the lead here. He went for it and it paid off. Ricky is now in the lead with the Sandbar clip. So sorry, my excitement. So the idea is that in that particular spot where you saw Ricky sort of do a spin into the sandbar, you have a 1 to 2 it's like, is it frame or pixel? I believe it's like a 2-frame window to get that spin jump where it'll let you in versus when it'll kill you. And like it's a consistent 2 seconds or 2 seconds. It's like a consistent 2 frames / pixels. I can't remember which, but it's a very tight, predictable window that lets you sort of get in there, and then you don't have to worry about the up and down bouncing of the sandbar for as long. It lets you sort of skip a couple cycles. So now we're in probably the deadliest, well, maybe not the deadliest, but one of the deadliest rooms in the game. This fortress is very hard. You've got these crushers. These are like the super fast crushers. And Ricky got a skip in there, which is nutso. I don't know what happened. Ricky just got all this energy like right back and it's just slamming through these last 2 levels. He wanted that lead right back and he just took it. But he's not out of the woods yet. Sweetie T is still right on his heels. Thanks for the confirmation, Shady. So it is 2 frames of window, possibly a third, which I remember reading that about that third one. I just never really bring it up because it's not always available. So fun fact, if you go through that very difficult fortress, you actually don't have to do a full Bowser's Castle. And the dark room that you do go through has a midway for some reason. It's sort of like that fortress was the real Bowser's Castle. All right, so Ricky's through the first phase. Sweetie T throws that Mecha Koopa, gets that first phase done as well. And so now we're going to be looking for a ball skip. So the idea behind ball skip is that during this second phase, the slowest of Bowser phases, as you see, Bowser throws this bowling ball. If you hit Bowser when he stops, but before he throws the second bowling ball, he'll skip throwing that second bowling ball, and then you just have to wait for the next Mecha Koopa cycle. As you can see, that bowling ball does take a while on the screen, so that's like kind of the big save in Bowser that you can do. Other than, you know, getting insta hits with a cape, but that's not really doable in a no cape category. Oh, Ricky, you're scaring me with that spin. You almost took out your Mecha Koopa. All right, but there's this 5th hit. Ricky's gonna just be looking for a 6th and final hit to wrap this up and take it home. Oh, and a nice shot from Sweetie T. Nice shot from Ricky. Get your GGs out for Ricky. They 36. Or 37.06. Sweetie T going for that 6th hit himself. Finishing up 37-20. I'm gonna call that a 20 when Peach appeared. So, GG, everyone. Well done. So, yeah, very, very good race from both of these runners. Well played. I really liked the I really liked that back and forth, especially right there at the end. That was crazy to Sandbar to take that lead back, and then Ricky just completely destroying that fortress. But Sweetie T played very well at the end as well. I definitely think in a race situation, Sandbar isn't something you're thinking about if you're ahead. I wouldn't even think about it if I was behind, to be honest, unless it was like I knew it would take me. So I'm going to take a look here and see if we get interviews. All right. It looks like we're not going to be having a interview from these guys. So, GG again to Ricky for taking the win. GG to Sweetie T for, I mean, honestly, that was a great fight between both of them. I shouldn't say fight. That was a great race between those two. I look forward to seeing what Ricky's going to throw down in the rest of this tournament, and I can't wait to see more runs from Sweetie T in the future. So, thanks everyone for hanging out with us today, and hopefully I see you guys for the next one.